Coming up on the October edition of Rood Crew Radio, Anny Reed and Scott Laird stop by to talk to us about Hanukkah 2018, the return to Mount Sinai. And we learn more about our October love gift and what's on the Health Awakening. Then I sit down with Michael Rood to learn more about an exciting exhibit we have here at A Rood Awakening called the Temple Treasures Exhibit. Trust me, you don't want to miss a second of this month's edition, the October 2018 edition of Rood Crew Radio.
From the production group studios in Charlotte, North Carolina, you're listening to the Rood Crew Radio program on the Rood Radio Network.
Hey, welcome everybody to the October edition of Rood Crew Radio. I'm your host, Ted Clayton, and it's my distinct pleasure to have as my usual guests on the first segment, Dr. Scott Laird and Anny Reed. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
So how is everything in the month of October?
Exciting.
Yes.
Well,
yes, indeed.
I understand now it's official. We can go ahead and talk about it. It's official. The new Hanukkah 2018, the return to Mount Sinai, has now officially been announced.
Yes.
Yes, it has. So we're excited to have 100 individuals join us here in the studio for Hanukkah 2018. We have a great lineup of guests. So Michael is actually going to be joined by a handful of individuals that have personally been to Mount Sinai, and they're going to share their experience of what they have found and what it's done for them spiritually. So we have Jim and Penny Caldwell that will be coming.
That's always a staple because Jim and Penny is kind of the platform of the Ron Wyatt experience of discovering all of this. So having Jim and Penny here, that just kind of roots the whole experience.
Yes, it does. And they're always a joy to have here. So we're excited to welcome them back. We also have Andrew Jones, who actually is in Saudi Arabia right now as we speak, gathering more footage of Mount Sinai at this very moment.
Now, I also understand that they have like unique 4K footage of the area as well.
Yes, they do. He actually has a drone footage that will take you from the Red Sea crossing to Mount Sinai, so you can see the actual journey that was taking place during the Exodus. So it's beautiful. It's completely unexpected that he's there doing this. A lot of this footage you'll see in Tim Mahoney's new movie at the beginning of 2019. And so he actually is one of the pioneers in giving us the available footage that we have on Mount Sinai.
Now, speaking of Tim Mahoney, I understand there's a great possibility that we may also have him on Shabbat Night Live in the first of 2019 as well.
Yes, all for his movie. We're excited to have this lineup of guests. We have Ryan Morrow that will also be joining us. Ryan is actually a national security analyst who is an expert on Islam and has made his way into Saudi Arabia as well. And so he won't be here to talk about anything Islam related. He's actually going to be here to talk about Mount Sinai and what took him to the actual location at the beginning of 2018 and what he discovered.
So all of these people kind of weave a story that all permeates on the real Mount Sinai being in Saudi Arabia.
That's right. And a lot of them had relied on each other's help to get to Saudi Arabia, but have never met in person.
Okay.
So it's going to be a great chance for all of us to meet them at the same time.
Okay. Well, now, Scott, give us the real info here. When is Hanukkah going to be happening here at A Rood Awakening? How much is it going to cost to get here? And all that good information. So give us all of that.
All right, well, it's December 7th to 9th, which is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If people came to Yom Teruah, they'll remember that was only a Saturday, Sunday thing. So we've got a whole other day here. So Friday starting at 1 p.m., we've got tours of the facility, all that good stuff. We've got, and people are actually going to be here for 2 tapings of Shabbat Night Live that others may not see for a long time yet. So you'll get to be in studio for 2 tapings of Shabbat Night Live on Friday. Then there's a whole day of teachings on Saturday. And of course, the highlight on Sunday is the Circle the Wagons with Michael Rood, and that's always a fun unplugged thing with him. The prices right now are $159 through October 22nd, and so that's the real thrust. We want people to act before October 22nd to get their ticket. $159 per adult or $49 per child, and then after that point, the adult tickets go up.
Okay, so that's the cue. The cue is don't wait. First of all, we only have 100 seats available. So because we only have 100 seats available, this is going to go extremely quickly. Yom Teruah went extremely quickly as well. But there's so much more to Hanukkah than there even was to Yom Teruah, and everyone had a blast when they were here. The Rood crew did, just being able to socialize with all of our partners, but the partners really came away with a lot of information, and it was just it was a blessed time to be had by everybody. So, folks, don't forget to get your tickets now. I'm sure they can go up to aroodawakening.tv/Hanukkah 2018. Okay, so you got it. Go now, get your tickets now. If you're hearing this after the 22nd of October, you have probably missed that early bird, but give us a call and get your tickets right now. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. You know, we could just probably talk about all this stuff for the next 2 hours. But moving on, we still got to talk about the love gift in October. So, Anny, tell me a little bit about the love gift that's happening in October.
So the love gift of October is the Vision Fulfilled. It's an exceptional teaching, and it's after Yeshua had left his apostles for the last time. And they were dealing with a lot of similar issues that we're dealing with today with the Great Commission. And so Michael takes us through history as to the issues that the disciples were having and how it really connects to the issues that we're having today in modern day, trying to deliver the message of Yeshua and the good news. So it's a donation of $50 or more. And then we have this beautiful piece. It's actually glass. It's very heavy, and it's customized. And it basically reminds us of the Great Commission, which is go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature, which is Mark 16:15.
And this is quality stuff, folks.
Yes.
This is a beautiful thing that you would love to have in your home. It'll spark conversation because people will say, well, what does this mean when it's talking about go out into all the world? And you can share your faith with people by using this particular thing. And it also makes a lovely gift as well.
It does. And it's something that you can keep at home as a reminder of what our mission is, what our purpose is here on earth.
So for $50, you get the Vision Fulfilled, and for your gift of $100 or more, you get both the plaque, or what would you call that exactly?
It is a keepsake. It's technically the real term, but regardless, it's beautiful. You won't want to miss out on this, and it is limited supplies only because we only ordered a limited quantity. So it's all available at monthlylovegift.com.
Okay, Scott, you got 30 seconds to tell me about the Health Awakening this month. Tell me who's your guest this month.
Well, as soon as you hear the guest, the 30 seconds is all you're going to need. Dr. Joel Furman, world famous Dr. Joel Furman, is going to tell us all about healthy eating from a real, what he calls nutritarian perspective. So it's not extreme, raw vegan or anything like this or keto. It's just how you can do this in your normal day life. And he has an acronym called G-BOMBS: greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds. G-BOMBS. And that's what he's going to be talking about. And this is something Michael Rood is doing right now. And by doing so, he's cut his cholesterol in half.
Absolutely. And he looks great. And once again, thank you, everyone, for all the kind words, cards, letters, and so forth. Michael is just doing fantastic, and we're so excited to see his future teachings and all the stuff that he's doing. Folks, listen, we've run out of time for this first segment already, and we could have gone, like I said, we could have gone another hour talking about all this stuff. Thank you guys once again for being here with us. Listen, folks, we're going to be right back in just a moment where we're going to be talking to Michael, and he's going to be talking to us about the Temple Treasures exhibit. Don't go away.
You're listening to Rood Crew Radio on the Rood Radio Network.
When Yeshua left his apostles for the last time, he left them with a simple commission: go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. But for the apostles, it was not so simple.
This is where these people are coming from. You have to understand that they have a system whereby Gentiles can be then brought into the body and made fellow heirs and of the same promise as Israel.
In The Vision Fulfilled, Michael Rood explains how the Pharisees and even the apostles themselves struggled with the simplicity of Yeshua's words.
When the Pharisees who became believers were with them, their mind was blown because they never could have expected this, because these Gentiles had not gone through jump through the rabbinic hoops.
The Vision Fulfilled is an exclusive teaching available only in October. It's a gift from Michael Rood to you for your love gift donation of just $50. Or with a love gift donation of $100 or more, we'll send you The Vision Fulfilled, plus a beautiful glass keepsake bearing Yeshua's final command to his disciples: go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature.
He said to go into the whole world and preach the gospel to every creature. We are doing that. And who is I to withstand God by not doing what Yeshua said?
Get the vision fulfilled and the glass keepsake, a stunning showpiece illustrating the simplicity, clarity, and beauty of Yeshua's Great Commission to teach others to do what he did. Call 800-788-7887. That's 800-788-7887 to make your love gift donation now and receive the Vision Fulfilled collection. Or visit our website at monthlylovegift.com. Hurry, offer ends October 31st.
Welcome back to the October edition of Rood Crew Radio. I'm your host, Ted Clayton, and with me is my dear friend, Michael Rood. Hey, Michael, how are you?
Ted, it's good to be with you. I'm doing fine. Very excited about the projects that we've got going on, and it's good to be with you.
Well, speaking of projects that we have going on here at A Rood Awakening International, one of those is the Temple Treasures exhibit that we have happening right here at our location here in Charlotte, North Carolina for the Temple Treasures Institute. Talk to me a little bit about that and what's going on with that.
Well, Ted, the display that we have for the Temple Treasures is really a walk through the tabernacle. And all of the articles of furniture for the tabernacle we have on display, as well as what began to be a multimedia presentation. And where it all starts is with the Torah. We have a 400-year-old Torah that was smuggled out of Iraq just before the last Gulf War. That is on display, and that is really where our story begins, with the Torah. When Moses completed writing the Torah, the 5 books of Moses, then he was instructed that it's to be kept by the Ark of the Covenant as a continual reminder to the people. The Torah is literally the constitution of the nation of Israel.
Yes.
And it was required that every adult, every 7 years of their life, that they would stand as the Torah is read publicly, and that is how everyone would hear and learn to obey the Torah.
Well, let's talk a little backstory on the Torah that we presently have here at the exhibit. Tell me the background and the history of that, because I understand it has a very unique background of how it actually got to A Rood Awakening. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Saddam Hussein wanted all of the Torahs that were in Iraq to be destroyed. But one of his lieutenants, who he put in charge of this, realized that he could make some money on this. And so what they did, instead of destroying them all, and some of them were in the National Museum, but instead of destroying them all, while they were running materials and weapons out of Syria before we attacked this last time, because they knew that we were coming for over a year.
Oh, sure.
I was living in Israel at the time, and we knew that we were going to be attacking, the United States would be attacking Iraq, so it wasn't any news. And so they were getting weapons out as fast as they could out into Syria. Some of them, they actually traced them from Jordan, where a chemical or a biological weapon that they were going to explode right downtown. They traced it right back to the very building that it was built in Iraq. And so there were weapons of mass destruction that were being built. And a lot of them were brought up into Syria, some into Jordan, but this is where it gets interesting. Inside the truck tires that were rolling out of Iraq, what they did was they broke off the skeins. That's Gaim, the trees or the rollers that are on the Torah. They broke those off, and they then wrapped up these Torah scrolls in cloths, in rags, and bent them to fit inside these truck tires. And these trucks, as they rolled out of Iraq into Syria, they were carrying Torah scrolls out of there. Once they got up into Syria, then they made their way up into Turkey, and from Turkey, Jewish businessmen bought them for $10,000 apiece to salvage them, to keep them from being destroyed or defiled in any way. And then from there, they made their way into Israel. and I was able to get my hands on a couple of these scrolls. Reggie White then said, I want one of these scrolls, and unfortunately, he needed it at the time that I was doing A Rood Awakening from Israel and needed to have one of these scrolls as a prop, which I walked through the Israel National Museum with this scroll in my hands, and that was a huge one. And appropriately, that was the first one that Reggie bought, and he was the only guy big enough to actually handle this thing.
Of course.
So that was the first one that we got, the one that Reggie purchased, and then he gave me the money to buy another one, and then we were able to get other ones as people were desirous of these scrolls here in America and around the world, and some of them were so badly damaged. What we did, Ted, was we took off the lacing, the gut lacing that laces the pages together.
Yes.
And we separated them, and then we offered individual pages for people to have them mounted and framed for their offices, for their business, for their homes, and so that people would have a representation. This is how the scriptures have been transmitted for thousands of years.
Right.
On the hides of sheep. And for a Torah scroll, and what we have here in our Temple Treasures exhibit, it is the hides of 55 sheep. It would take an entire flock of sheep in order to have the skins to write the Torah scroll on. It would take an entire barrel of ink and a scribe an entire year of his life to make a copy of the reference scroll in front of him, and to then to make a copy of it so that it would be available in a synagogue, in a community, wherever it was commissioned to be done.
So we have a lot to be thankful for from just the courage of the workers who, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but if they were found to be smuggling these things out of the country,
they
could be killed.
Saddam Hussein wanted them destroyed, and a Muslim lieutenant in his army decided that he was going to make some bucks instead of it. Actually, Ted, this was done as a History Channel special in Israel.
Gotcha.
But it was only in Hebrew, because this was basically not of interest to anyone outside of Israel or the Jews. They didn't consider this to be monumental, but we who loved the Torah, you know, this was monumental to us, and these got to us just in time for us to be able to use them for our programs, and now to have this as the #1 piece in our display of the temple treasures, that which was put in the holy place by the Ark of the Covenant as a reference for the people forever. And now people, when they come here, they can see one that's 400 years old, that this is part of our history. This is his story.
Of course. And, you know, folks, you don't want to miss this. If you have the opportunity to come down to Charlotte, we'd love to have you to come in and take a look at this and tour the facilities here. Listen, we got to take a break right now, but in just a moment, we'll be right back. And, Michael, I would like to ask you about how the Ark of the Covenant came about here in the Temple Treasures Institute. So we'll be right back. We'll be right back, folks.
You're listening to Rood Crew Radio on the Rood Radio Network.
When Yeshua left his apostles for the last time, he left them with a simple commission. But for them, it was not so simple.
This is where these people are coming from. You have to understand that they have a system whereby Gentiles can be then brought into the body and made fellow heirs and of the same promise as Israel.
In The Vision Fulfilled, Michael Rood explains how the Pharisees and even the apostles themselves struggled with the simplicity of Yeshua's words. The Vision Fulfilled is an exclusive teaching available only in October. It's a gift from Michael Rood to you for your love gift donation of just $50. Or with a love gift donation of $100 or more, we'll send you The Vision Fulfilled plus a beautiful glass keepsake bearing Yeshua's final command to his disciples. Call 800-788-7887. That's 800-788-7887. Hurry, offer ends October 31st.
And welcome back to our third segment of Rood Crew Radio for the month of October. I have here with me my special friend and guest, Michael Rood. Michael, thank you again for being here.
Thank you for having me, Ted.
And we're going to talk more about the Temple Treasures exhibit. Now, I understand that there's a lot of history that goes on with the Ark of the Covenant via what Ron Wyatt saw down in that deep crevice area that he found the Ark and saw the Ark down there. Tell us a little history about how you commissioned this Ark to come about.
Wow. You know, when I just start to think about the Temple Treasures exhibit, which is really the tabernacle exhibit, the articles of furniture, it is, every time I get goosebumps because this is what Moses saw by revelation when he was told to build these articles according to the pattern he saw in the mountain. These are not exact replicas of what he saw. This is according to the pattern. Yes. Because he was literally, by revelation, just like John in the book of Revelation was taken to the throne room, Moses was taken to the throne room, and what he saw, he then built these representations, not exact copies. And so we see finally in the book of the Revelation that John describes these very things, such as the altar. Well, first of all, we could start with the menorah, the seven-branch lampstand, which John sees in the throne room, in front of the throne itself, and before the sea of fire and glass are the seven flaming spirits of God, the eternally burning spirits of God, seven spirits, and that is typified in the menorah. The table of showbread represents the provision, God's provision, which is always before His face. Give us this day our daily bread. That's all that He asks of us, is that we ask of Him. Give us this day our daily bread, because He is always willing, He is always able to supply our daily needs. Yes. The altar of incense we see in the book of Revelation. This is what the incense that is burned on the altar of incense, as it was in the days of Moses. That incense, that compound, was illegal. It was the death penalty for anyone to compound this same thing outside of the temple, because this is not allowed for mortal man to inhale this incense. Why not? Because this represents our prayer and our praise to Almighty God, and He alone deserves that incense, that prayer, and that worship. And so no one else is ever allowed to compound it. No one is allowed to possess it, even though we're given the exact proportions in the Scripture how that is to be done. Yeah. Well, talk to me in the 3 minutes we have left in this segment. Talk to me about the Ark of the Covenant. That's what everybody just goes into the exhibit and they just stand in awe of this. And that is exactly what is supposed to happen, because that represents the throne of the Almighty. Represents. In heaven, it's actually 4 living beasts, covered with 6 wings on each of them, covered with eyes that see everything and know everything at a glance. And when they shout holy, the rafters of the universe shake. On the earth, it is represented by the Ark of the Covenant, and 2 angels standing on each end. They're standing on each end of the Ark of the Covenant, gazing down at the mercy seat in silent awe at the blood of the Lamb that was sprinkled on the mercy seat, which covers the broken tablets of stone, which is right in front of the scroll that Moses shook the blood of bulls on that scroll and said, "This is the blood covenant between you, Israel, and Jehovah. Whoever breaks the covenant dies." Now, there's a unique sword in the Temple Treasures exhibit as well. Can you tell me about that? That sword, why I have that there, that is called the Sword of Solomon. It was built in Toledo, Spain, by Jewish sword makers. These Jewish sword makers understood, and they have emblazoned on that particular sword the Ark of the Covenant, with the angels standing on each end. They understood this. They understood the significance. And on each end of the hilt are the guarding cherubs on each end. That is what was carved in the cave where when Jeremiah hid the Ark of the Covenant, one of the priests made a marking, a carving out in the cave on the wall of a guarding cherub just like that. And this was what Jeremiah said, that you stop making this carving, stop doing this, stop marking this out, because the Ark of the Covenant must remain in this sacred place until the last days, when the cloud of glory will again be seen above the mercy seat, as it was the days of Moses and as it was in the days of Solomon. The Ark of the Covenant was deliberately hidden by Jeremiah. We have the record of that written in the handwriting of Baruch, the scribe of Jeremiah, and the Ark of the Covenant will be revealed in the last days. That will be the confirmation of the covenant spoken by the angel to the prophet Daniel. When the Ark of the Covenant is revealed, that is what begins the last seven, the last Shavuot, the last 7 years.
Wow, Michael, thank you so much for being here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't had the chance to see the Temple Treasures exhibit, you are absolutely missing out. You need to call today. Call Anny Reed at the office here. The number will be on the website, www.aroodawakening.tv. Go to the website, make your appointment to come to see this. This is a once-in-a-lifetime visit to be able to see and touch these exhibits and know that they are actually coming from the Almighty. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after this special word for you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Rood Crew Radio on the Rood Radio Network.
When Yeshua left his apostles for the last time, he left them with a simple commission: go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. But for the apostles, it was not so simple.
This is where these people are coming from. You have to understand that they have a system whereby Gentiles can be then brought into the body and made fellow heirs and of the same promise as Israel.
In The Vision Fulfilled, Michael Rood explains how the Pharisees and even the apostles themselves struggled with the simplicity of Yeshua's words.
When the Pharisees who became believers were with them, their mind was blown, because they never could have expected this, because these Gentiles had not gone through jump through the rabbinic hoops.
The Vision Fulfilled is an exclusive teaching available only in October. It's a gift from Michael Rood to you for your love gift donation of just $50. Or with a love gift donation of $100 or more, we'll send you The Vision Fulfilled, plus a beautiful glass keepsake bearing Yeshua's final command to his disciples: go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature.
He said to go into the whole world and preach the gospel to every creature. We are doing that, and who is I to withstand God by not doing what Yeshua said?
Get The Vision Fulfilled and the glass keepsake, a stunning showpiece illustrating the simplicity, clarity, and beauty of Yeshua's Great Commission to teach others to do what he did. Call 800-788-7887. That's 800-788-7887 to make your love gift donation now and receive the Vision Fulfilled collection. Or visit our website at monthlylovegift.com. Hurry, offer ends October 31st.
Hey, if you would like to help support this ministry or become an Ambassador Club member, or how about an executive producer, please send your tax-deductible donation to A Rood Awakening International, P.O. Box 1559, Fort Mill, South Carolina, 29716. Or you can visit us at our website at www.aroodawakening.tv and click that donate button on the upper right-hand side. Or if you would just like to pray with one of our prayer warriors, just give us a call at 1-888-766-3610. Partner Services folks are there now to answer any questions you might have and to pray with you. From all of us here at the Rood Crew and our producer, Kenneth Collins, we wish you peace for the month of October, and we'll talk to you again real soon. We'll see you when the smoke clears.